Gino, I've got a question for you. Are you aware that the ancient Egyptians, the very ones who built those majestic pyramids, were actually people of color, wielding power and influence over populations with lighter skin tones?
Thanks for asking that question. But before I respond,
if you enjoy my content, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like, comment on my videos, click the notification bell to stay updated. Thank you for your support. Please enjoy.
let me introduce myself to the viewers who don't know me. Hi everyone, I'm Gino DiCaprio, and as always, welcome to my page. As I sit here sipping my coffee and staring at the ancient artifacts scattered before me, I am reminded of the absurdity of racism. The more I delve into the annals of history, the more I realize that our perceptions of race and power are nothing more than a fleeting moment in the grand tapestry of time. Take, for instance, the ancient Egyptians, those paragons of civilization with their pyramids, pharaohs, and pantheon of gods. But what's often overlooked is the fact that many of these ancient Egyptians were, in fact, black. And not just any black people, mind you, but powerful, high-ranking officials who held sway over the lighter-skinned populations of the time. Yes, you read that right. It's possible that ancient Egyptians, with their dark skin and African features, were enslaving people with lighter skin tones. The tables, it seems, were turned. But here's the thing. Later on, those who were once enslaved decided that they wanted to erase any evidence of their oppressors' history. They wanted to wipe away the memories of a time when people of color held power and influence, and when they were the ones who were cruel, malicious, and evil. They wanted to raise awareness about this dark period in history, not to glorify it, but to ensure that it would never repeat itself. They wanted to caution against the dangers of unchecked power and the evils of racism, regardless of who was perpetuating it. And so they set about destroying the artifacts, the texts, and the oral traditions that told the story of their oppressors' greatness. They tried to erase the very memory of a time when people of color were the ones who held the reins of power. But as we all know, you can't erase history. You can't wipe away the memories of a people, no matter how hard you try. And so the artifacts remain, the texts remain, and the oral traditions remain, telling the story of a time when people of color were not just equals, but superiors. As someone who's part of the Jewish tribe, I'm struck by the fact that we've always considered ourselves a single, unified people, regardless of our skin color or hair texture. We're a tribe that's comprised of people from all corners of the globe, with skin tones ranging from the palest white to the darkest black. And yet, we don't consider ourselves different races. We're just one tribe, united in our shared heritage and faith. So, what sets us apart from the rest of the world? What makes God's firstborn children different from every other race? Is it our shared history, our faith, our culture? Perhaps it's something simpler. Perhaps it's the fact that we've learned to look beyond the superficial differences that divide us and to see the shared humanity that unites us. As I finish writing this, I'm reminded of a phrase that's often repeated in our tribe. We're all in this together. It's a phrase that's easy to dismiss as a trite cliche, but it's also a profound truth. We are all in this together. We're all part of the same human family with the same hopes, fears, and dreams. And when we start to see each other in that light, perhaps we can begin to break down the barriers that divide us and to build a world that's more just, more equitable, and more peaceful for all. What separates us from the rest of the world is that they see themselves as different races, fragmented and divided. Even Black Americans are confused about their identity, trying to call themselves African Americans. But what does that really mean? Most Black Americans have never set foot in Africa, just like those from the Caribbean don't consider themselves African. In fact, people from the Caribbean and Africa have distinct identities and cultures that are separate from Black Americans. There's no unification, no shared sense of self. And yet, Black Americans talk about injustice and inequality, often pitting themselves against the white population. But here's the irony. The white population makes up less than 8% of the world's population, while Blacks make up around 18%. It's a stark reminder that the narrative of white supremacy is just that, a narrative. As someone who's part of the Jewish tribe, I'm struck by the fact that we've always considered ourselves a single unified people, regardless of our skin color or hair texture. We're a tribe that's comprised of people from all corners of the globe, with skin tones ranging from the palest white to the darkest black, and yet we don't consider ourselves different races. We're just one tribe, united in our shared heritage and faith. As I finish writing this, I'm reminded of a phrase that's often repeated in our tribe. We're all in this together. It's a phrase that's easy to dismiss as a trite cliche, but it's also a profound truth. So I'll leave you with this question. What would happen if we started to see each other as part of the same human family rather than as separate races and identities?